I think a big highlight for UCL in the 24-25 season was that it was UCL as a company, or UCL as an organisation's 100-year centenary. I think it gave us a good opportunity to reflect with gratitude and to honour those that came before us, and just to sort of be grateful that they took those risks that they did. I think we've got a lot to be thankful for those early pioneers. I think it gave us an opportunity to look back and recognise that our core, that we as UCL are still the same now as we were back then. And I think UCL's reason for existence, which is to keep us as farmers on our farms and keep us farming, which I think, to help us beneficiate the raw materials that we produce on our farm. Okay, so I think another highlight is to look at UCL's efforts to diversify. UCL is already a very diversified operation with its wattle operation, pine, and now they're also looking into avos. And I think that's really quite an exciting opportunity which opens up a lot of doors for UCL growers and members. I agree, and that's what I was also alluding to earlier on the core values of UCL. It's trying to keep as many people in the community engaged and staying here. We don't want all our young people to leave. We want them to be here, be employed in the community. So I think it's an absolutely huge benefit that we have is to be a part of UCL's, to be able to benefit from these initiatives. I think UCL, another big highlight is UCL's continued effort to improve the sugar mill. We've got an extremely we have a very highly motivated team of engineers that continually look to improve the mill operations. From our perspective as growers, we can only be grateful for the expansion and improvements that are constantly being made. These guys are just fantastic and an absolute pleasure to work with. For every problem, they seem to find a solution, making things better than ever. These improvements have allowed our cane to be crushed out last year, so no carryover for the very first time in quite a while. And this season looks like we're heading for new records again, so the guys just keep shooting the lights out. We're really extremely grateful to be able to work with them. I think it's also notable to mention that for the first time in quite a few years, the sort of cane planting or cane expansion moratorium has been lifted. We've been encouraged to actually plant more cane where possible, so expansion applications were taken into UCL and then vetted by sort of an expansion committee, and I think we're heading for new records. And I think I think the distinction is that we are the organisation. So I think that's where the big difference comes in. We're all part of it. We're all part owners. We're all part of the decision-making process. And if you choose to be involved, there's space for you to be involved, and you will be heard and listened to. So I think it's great to be a part of it. It's fantastic. Operation, there's going to be challenges. I think one of the biggest challenges was the drop in the estimate towards the latter part of the season. I think it put a lot of pressure on the mill, because all of a sudden, we went from a massive carryover situation to all of a sudden a cane shortage, which was a very unusual situation for us. And it also placed pressure on guys whose estimate didn't drop, because there were sort of selected guys whose estimates didn't drop for various reasons. And all of a sudden their allocations went up and shot through the roof, where other, trying to fill the gap in supply. So I think the mill struggled with that, and in fact we actually closed earlier than anticipated because of that big drop in the estimate. I think it's the dry weather that we had through the winter. I think it had a bigger effect on the crop than anticipated. So we've had a good summer now, so let's hope that in the next season it actually picks up. It's an interesting question, because I think there's a couple of answers to that question. I think guys in the past have probably got complacent with their estimating. Because the mill was always in a carryover situation, it was easy to hide bad cane at the back end of the season, or lower yielding cane at the back end of the season. Oh, it's just carryover cane, where this season those guys have kind of shown up. So I think that's one side of it, and I think so that the start of the season was quite challenging in terms of cane quality, but then as the weather dried off, then the quality's improved, and that made a huge difference. So I think it's much the same this season. We're starting off with terribly low qualities again, and hopefully we will pick up. So we ended off the season at 12,02 RV, which wasn't bad at all. We were in the industry. I think we were number 4, number 5 in the industry. Yeah, I think it was. I think overall it was actually a good season. You know, we ended up on 85% purity. We ended up on just over 12% RV. We crushed out our crop. You know, so I think we're starting the new season with a clean pipeline, which is. I think this season is going to be exciting because I think at the mill we're going to be breaking records again. Really, because I know that they have made some changes and they are still busy making some changes which will only really come into effect after Easter. So I think we're heading for a record-breaking season in terms of crush. We're aiming again for no carryover this season. So to have 2 seasons in a row with no carryover I think that's cause for celebration almost. I think probably in a consolidation phase. I mean, after this expansion, we'll probably be in a consolidation phase, and we'll see whether the mill team. I'm sure will be looking at where the next bottlenecks are and finding where they can make improvements. But in terms of new projects at the mill, I don't know. I think they're looking at changing the weighbridge position, like little operational things, because obviously you can imagine with an increased tonnage, you can imagine that the traffic flow is going to be under pressure, and I think that's definitely something that's receiving attention at the moment. I think another challenge that I would like to mention is possibly, the state or the poor state of our road infrastructure. It's causing huge challenges for cane transport, and I think we are taking that up through our farmers associations, but I think it's just a general theme in the country with deteriorating infrastructure, but it is causing consequences for us.
Yeah, I think definitely a highlight for the UCL group last year was celebrating their 100th year, their centenary anniversary. They had a really big celebration, and just from a cane growers perspective, it was nice to be part of the grower community and hear all of the reflection and the journey that they've walked to where they are today. Obviously, they've achieved a lot, and it's really encouraging to see where they are, and very inspiring as a group to what is actually achievable, and something that we can all work towards. So it's been a pleasure to work with them as a group, I think to really culminate. I suppose the ethos that they inspire is the lifting of their cane expansion moratorium, allowing growers to expand the area under cane, which is again been great, a good positive sentiment for the community, and a good growth opportunity for them. So that's been really great. So the mill did have a relatively good performance, crushing over 1 million tons, which was exceptional. I think everyone was very, very happy about that. So it was good. I think in terms they were a lot more consistent in their crush, which was great. So UCL ended off the season on, it was 12% RV, which was great. I think as the chairman highlighted, it was a good season, and I think definitely from the Midlands perspective, they did well. We had a challenging year with the drier conditions and the frost event that took place. So they definitely did well to proactively manage their quality and maintain it. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, so I suppose, in the environment where, there are diversification opportunities on the cards for UCL growers, not just UCL growers from the Avo packhouse, but also in terms of the cane expansion. So, from a cane growers perspective, we're definitely there to support growers that are looking to expand their operations or diversify their operations into new ventures, whatever that may be. So from an economic services perspective, we're there to assist growers, whether it be cash flow that they require to assess the feasibility of their borrowed capital to develop or diversify their operation. I think there's also been growers are busy people and always got something on the cards to, try and cut costs or grow revenue. And when growers are investigating that, we as cane growers are definitely there, and we support them in their investigations. A lot of growers too restructuring, some of the business operations, from legal structure perspective. So we also assist them in determining lease rates that the entities or the operational entities will pay. So obviously the grower group is made up a lot of family businesses, and how those family businesses, a lot of old history being their centenary year celebration. So some of the dynamics, in how those entities are structured, they're also changing. So from a cane growers perspective, we are also there to assist them, with a lot of the structures moving to companies that have different financial and auditing requirements, needing crop and root valuations, determining internal lease rates that the different entities can charge. I suppose that the lease consideration is with respect to, what would you call it, a succession planning perspective. So that's where we get involved, and so that's been very interesting, and also nice to support the growers in helping them continue their businesses into the next generation. I think, obviously climatically with the drier conditions that we had last year within the Midlands North area, there was a significant frost event, and that obviously has implications on cane quality, and definitely managing cane quality under those circumstances is very difficult, or what would you call it, more challenging, given the scale of the frost event. And I think, hats off to the UCL group for managing their cane quality and achieving the RV that they did at the end of the season. I think it was a conscious decision and effort, a group effort, so that was good. But within that, there are challenges that arise where individual growers might be faced with proportionally bigger issue depending on the location of their farm and how that affects them. And when you're engaging with growers on a one-to-one level, it can be some difficult discussions, especially if it's not feasible to deliver cane. And it's never nice to put forward something like that, that is is going to have a potentially adverse effect on the grower. But I suppose that's part of what we have to do, and that can be quite challenging.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
so we coming off the back of the dry season, and with the frost event, there's always a risk because of the biennial cycle or the nature of our crop cycle, that some of the frost cane is not harvested during that season, and that will obviously, now going into the mill this season, have negative impacts. We've had a very good start to the summer this year. So we are in a growing crop, so I think cane quality has been a challenge, and obviously we know that has adverse effects on the mill, so I think it has been a challenging start to the season. But saying that, I think the factory has had a big off crop in terms of the mechanical work that they've done, so it could be a combination of both, and I think I would say optimistically looking forward that cane quality will start to improve, and we'll start seeing the tail end of those mechanical off-crop maintenance work, and we'll see an uptake all around. But that remains to be seen. The sentiment is that the instances of old dung are definitely increasing, and the amount of hectares that they are affecting. Exciting projects coming up are going to be, looking forward to the off-crop maintenance work that was done, to see the I suppose the fruits of the labour of all that off-crop work in terms of the mill throughput and the crush potential that it's got. And then I think also from a diversification perspective, definitely anticipating, some from a cane growers perspective, being able to support growers in investigating those opportunities, which is always exciting. So looking forward to that. I think maybe just on a sentiment point of view, not a phrase, but I think the sentiment was very positive. We had a very good RB price, which obviously definitely helps, and also given the year where the mill also had a good crush, and so I think the sentiment was definitely positive. And again, with the prospects of expansion and growth, it was a good year.